me, always strong, doing what I'm supposed to be doing when I'm supposed to be doing it, right? So, on this rainy day in Baltimore, I want to talk to y'all about something that is extremely important with organizing your life, right? Organizing how you think, organizing your behavior and how you move so you can move towards being more successful, right? I had a young man yesterday ask me a question, and the question was, dealing with relationships, and it just was, talking about, making sure that he's like, he wants to be in a relationship, but he's not ready, to be a father, things like that, right? So I have this workshop that I put together called Preventive Maintenance, right? So preventative maintenance is being able to recognize things in your life and preparing yourself for it, right? I think I've talked to y'all about it before, being prepared for the unknown, right? So I know it's kind of like, how can you be prepared for the unknown? But you can, though. There's a formula and there's a process, right? So what I was talking to him, right, the title was, boom. I said, you want to be intimate with a woman, right? So we put it at the top, sex. All right. I said, what comes with sex? And we wrote down pleasure, right? Pleasure, emotions. What else? Possibility of STD. What else? Pregnancy, becoming a parent. What else? Being in a relationship. What else? Moving towards marriage, right? All of this stuff comes under that, right? That act. And I asked him, I said, are you prepared to be able to deal with all those things that's on that list? And he was like, no. Then I know what I told him. I said, well, do you think you need to be having sex? Do you think you need to be out there doing this if you're not prepared to be able to take on the responsibility of the things that come under this, right? This is preventative maintenance, right? When I step out, when I make a decision to do something, I look at all the variables, all the things that possibly could be that come under it, and I prepare myself for it. Whatever research I got to do, whatever I got to work on myself with, whatever I got to look at, I map everything out. And the reason why is because by doing this, right, you don't put yourself in a position where you're not prepared to be able to handle the things that come down the line with that, right? People don't think like that. People think impulsive. They think about, like, I'm in the moment, this is what I want to do. They're not looking at the possibility of, yeah, she's attractive, I like her, boom, this happens, she's pregnant now, I don't know what to do now, it's a headache because I wasn't prepared for this, or I didn't plan to want to be a parent right now, right? So it becomes an adjustment to your life, a shift and things like that, right? We have to start preparing our children for the future. We have to start teaching them, how to be able to prepare themselves to move forward, right? That means that being able to map out the things that's going on, right? Same thing like, boom, let's say at the top of the board, you put business, right? I want to run a business, right? So now, what goes under? What do you have to prepare yourself for, to be successful as a business owner, right? You have to map those things out. You have to do your research. You have to do your due diligence. You have to do this. You have to do that, right? This is preparing you, right, for success. It's preparing you for any type of calamities or things that may come down the line. How am I going to bounce back? Most of us go through things and the things happen that we're not prepared for, and it devastates us because we think that the world is over because, we didn't expect this or expect that to happen, right? But when you prepare yourself for things, right, you're able to deal with it, right? But we don't do that, though. We do not prepare ourselves for things, right? Most families, right, don't have an exit strategy for the family. That means, a fire breakout, right? They don't know what to do. They panic because they haven't set in motion, for this to happen, right? Haven't done it. You feel what I'm saying? They haven't even sit down with their children, and taught them about, with strangers, right? Must be strange or that this is what you do, this is what you used to do. They don't have a step-by-step process. So they don't know how to function. And most people panic, and in panic, they make bad decisions. And in bad decisions, they put themselves, at risk, right? So these things, aren't structured in how we think and how we move, right? So preventative maintenance, is being able to prepare yourself for the unknowns, the things, that can come down the road with this decision or moving down this path. Or if this situation happens, how do I properly deal with it? It's the same thing for the person, that takes up self-defense class. You're not taking up self-defense class because you're getting into a fight tomorrow. You're taking self-defense class, just in case, you're in a situation where you have to defend yourself, right? It's the unknown. I don't know when a person's going to think they can be froggy and jump out there and I have to defend myself. But I take these classes because I know I live in the world, whereas though, that you have people out there, and I want to be prepared to be able to deal with whatever. You feel what I'm saying? You got women that do what? They get off of work late. And most of the time when they get off of work late, it's dark out. You feel what I'm saying? They go into the parking lot to get in their car. You feel what I'm saying? They don't have any classes. They got this thing called a Coupeton, right? It's like a sickle, right? This thing, and it's it go on your keychain or whatever, right? A lot of them may have one or whatever, but they don't know how to use it, right? Because they haven't taken the classes to be able to know how to use it. So you have something, don't know how to use it. You got mace and don't know how to use it. You feel what I'm saying? You got all of these things that you haven't prepared yourself to know how to use, right? So when you're talking about preparing yourself for the unknown, is being able to put yourself in a position. Now, my thing is this, right? If you are the type of person where as though that you feel as though, this is something I'll never be faced with, right? Then there's no need for you to prepare yourself for certain things, right? But the things that that you see every day, the things you say, oh, that was a close one. That could have been like this. It could have been like that. These are the things you need to prepare yourself for. You'll sit there and you'll see friends and stuff go through things that you possibly can go through, right? And you walk around like you Superman, like it'll never happen to you. So you don't prepare yourself for those things, right? I was talking to a young lady, and she was telling me about a situation going on with her daughter, right? And her daughter, is mature enough, not to fall into peer pressure, but she's struggling with the peer pressure because of the emotional kickback, and the rejection, right? So at the end of the day, right, she just needs reinforcement, to help her stay steady on her path, because peer pressure is serious, right? You got to prepare your children for that. You got to prepare your children for these conversations. You got to prepare your daughters that, look, they're going to be boys, that, that's going to pressure you because, their little hormones is doing this and doing that, right? But if they truly like you and they truly want to be with you, they'll wait, and respect your process and your time, right? Never do anything, out of the fear of losing somebody, because if you lose them because of something they're pressing you about, that you're not comfortable with, then they never was with you. See, that type of conversation prepares their mind, for those situations, right? But we don't break that process down there. We don't give them that step-to-step process, to paint that picture for them so they can understand. What we do is we yell at them, we get upset with them. If we see any type of behavior, we go off, and all that does, is shut them down. They don't learn a lesson. They actually become more upset, at you, and they pull back from you, and they lose more trust, or they don't feel comfortable opening up with you because of how you react and respond, right? Because we weren't prepared, to what? To have the conversation, right? So these are the things you got to have. I got a baby girl. So I sat down and I looked at a lot of different things, and I'm like, I got to do this, I got to do that. So the conversations that I had with her is trying to get her to understand some things. I'm trying to prepare her for life. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not a physical parent, right? I'm more I break things down. We sit down and we talk about it, and then, we go from there, right? And then what I do is I allow you to face yourself. You might write me an essay on what you did wrong and what you should have did, right? In your own words and your own thoughts, right? And then we have a conversation, and then what I do is, when we lay down, whatever, punishment that it is, I'm not the type of parent, to just, I take your game from you for a day and then turn around, and give it back to you 2 days later. You haven't learned anything. You need to feel the pressure, of the reality that when you do wrong, there's consequences, right? These are steps and ways, that you prepare a person, for success, because you're teaching them about, the reality of life, instead of sending them out in the world spoiled or feeling as though, that, that they'll get over it and I'll be all right. No, you feel what I'm saying? Because in the real world, right, you make some bad decisions or whatever, you don't get your game taken. You lose your job. You get evicted. These are real things, you feel what I'm saying? So just being able to, set the standard, right? In this class that I teach, right, the people that I've had in my classes and teaching them about preventative maintenance, right, they walk away with a different outlook, but also they walk away with a formula of how to be able to navigate and prepare themselves for the unknown that comes down the line. You feel what I'm saying? You don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Or it may happen, but you want to be prepared for it, right? And the young man, when I talked to him, he was like, yeah, you're right. He said, I'm not ready. I said, so what do you got to, then the thing is not to shut him down and say that, because you're not ready to take on a responsibility to be a father, or, you're not ready, to deal with this and deal with that you shouldn't be in a relationship or get to know someone. So what I did was, I gave him a plan of action. Like, you can do this, and that to prepare yourself for this, right? Because when you don't have yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not about what the other person's going to do. It's about what you're going to do, right? When you're not prepared, right? I don't care how prepared the other person is. If you're not prepared, you're not going to be able to do your part. And most relationships are like that. They'll be one-sided. The other person, is more responsible and accountable than the other person. And because you think, the other person, is this, I don't have to be this. No. Because you have a social responsibility to the situation too. So it's about you doing your part, right? Because you don't want to create patterns, right? Where you make decisions and the consequences come up, and then you allow somebody else to have to deal with it. You'll be making messes everywhere you go, right? So I wanted to come on here this morning and talk about that. Preventative maintenance, right? You got to be able to, prevent certain things, or be able to get on top of certain things when they happen, right? And most of the time, right, we make these decisions and then we regret them. Who do you think you tear down when you have regret? You tear yourself down. It's not good to your confidence. It's not good to your mental health. It's not good to you psychologically when you make all these bad decisions and you beat yourself up, right? And then you push on. Like, you walk around with a lot of doubt in who you are. And that's why you have a lot of people around here that aren't successful, that do the bare minimum, that, that you got a lot of people around here that just feel like failures because of that, right? When you prepare yourself for something and then it happens, like, I know what to do. I got this. When you have that knowledge or you have that skill, you don't have the worry that you do when you don't. You don't have the anxiety that you do when you don't. So it's just some things to think about, As I always do, I come on here with great love and respect and I ask for it in return. Let's do the work. Work on you. Develop you. Go through that process. Look at your life. This is what I want to do. Now look at all the things you got to do in order for you to be successful with that, right? Look at all the possibilities of things that are going to come up. Map out your life. Put it on paper. Like I said, if you don't put it on paper, it doesn't make it real. You feel what I'm saying? Like, put it on paper so you can see it. Map it out and work through it. I guarantee you, right, you'll be more organized, more structured, right? And you'll be more confident in your ability to be able to deal with some of the difficulties that come down the line. But until then, right, you're going to find yourself, running or, not doing anything because you don't know what to do. You got those moments where you just freeze and it's like, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. And that's paralyzing. And when it's paralyzing, right, it does something to your confidence. It does something to your value and who you are, because now you feel hopeless. Hopeless can create despair. Think about these things. With that, say peace. Continue to keep doing what you're doing. I'm out.